Ever pondered on the process of creating a scrumptious sticky date pudding? In this video, we're set to reveal the secrets behind this traditional comfort dessert, a recipe that traces its roots back to the British Isles and has since captured the hearts and kitchens of individuals worldwide. Picture a succulent sponge cake packed with finely diced dates, all drenched in a lavish toffee sauce. It's a symphony of flavors and textures guaranteed to keep your palate wanting more. Now let's break down the key components that transform this dessert into a culinary sensation. The primary star, the dates. These sugary, chewy delicacies form the backbone of the dessert, giving the pudding a potent caramel-like taste. The quality is paramount, thus, we suggest using medjool dates for an optimal outcome. They're bigger, juicier, and possess a deeper flavor than other types. Next up, brown sugar. More than just a simple sweetener, brown sugar, with its molasses-esque undertone, accentuates the taste of the dates and imparts a beautiful dark hue to the pudding. It's also responsible for lending the pudding its trademark sticky. And how could we overlook the butter? Butter? It confers a velvety richness to the pudding, ensuring it's supremely moist and soft. In this video, we'll be employing unsalted butter to control the saltiness. Just make sure it's at room to facilitate easy blending. The final flourish, the toffee sauce. This serves as the crowning glory on the sticky date pudding, providing a gooey, sweet, and slightly savory conclusion. This sauce is typically concocted from butter, heavy cream, and brown sugar, simmered together until it reaches a thick, pourable texture. Each element plays a crucial role in crafting the ultimate date pudding. It's a fine equilibrium of flavors and textures, a dance between sweet and savory, moist, sticky. So don your aprons, have your whisks on standby, and get your sweet tooth geared up. Are you ready to whip up the most delectable sticky date pudding? Let's dive into the recipe. To start off, we need to gather all the necessary ingredients. For the sticky date pudding, we'll need some sweet, succulent dates, a cup of boiling water, a teaspoon of baking soda, unsalted butter, brown sugar, vanilla extract, and self-raising flour. Don't forget a couple of eggs to bind everything together. Then, for the decadent caramel sauce, we'll need more unsalted butter, heavy cream, and brown sugar. Now, if you're not a fan of brown sugar, you can substitute it with white sugar. However, keep in mind that brown sugar lends a richer, more complex flavor to the pudding and the sauce. And for those who are dairy intolerant, you can use margarine instead of butter, and a non-dairy cream alternative for the sauce. Remember, substitutions can slightly alter the taste, but don't worry, your sticky date pudding will still be a crowd pleaser. With all the ingredients in place, we can now start the real magic. First things first, we need to prep our dates. Now, this is a crucial step in our sticky date pudding journey. You'll start by pitting the dates, which simply means removing the hard stone in the middle. Be careful not to squish the dates too much. We want to keep as much of that sweet, sticky goodness as possible. Next, you'll chop the dates into small pieces. This will allow them to break down easier when we soak them, resulting in a smoother pudding. Speaking of soaking, let's move on to that. You'll want to pour boiling water over the chopped dates. This softens them, releasing their natural sugars and enhancing their flavor. Here's a little baking secret. Add a touch of baking soda to the mix. This not only aids in breaking down the dates, but also gives our pudding a lighter texture. With our dates prepped and soaking, we can move on to the next step. Now it's time to create our pudding batter. The magic of a perfect sticky date pudding lies in the batter. It's a simple mix, but every ingredient and every step counts. So let's get started. First, we'll take our softened butter. Remember, it should be soft but not melted. It's crucial for a smooth batter. We'll add this butter into a large mixing bowl. Now it's time for the sugar. We'll add in our brown sugar, which provides a rich molasses-like sweetness that pairs beautifully with the dates. We'll take a spoon or an electric mixer and start creaming the butter and sugar together. The goal here is to combine them until they're light and fluffy. The color should be a pale yellow. This mixing process helps to incorporate air into our batter, making our pudding light and tender. With our butter and sugar well combined, it's time to gradually add in the eggs. We'll add one egg at a time, making sure each is well incorporated before adding the next. This way, we ensure our batter maintains a smooth consistency. Now we'll sift in our flour. Sifting is an essential step as it helps to remove any lumps and aerates the flour, making our pudding even more light and fluffy. We'll gently fold the flour into the batter, taking care not to overmix. Overmixing can lead to a dense and tough pudding, and we definitely don't want that. Lastly, we'll fold in our prepped and soaked dates. These dates, full of flavor and moisture, are the star of our sticky date pudding. They'll add a wonderful sweetness and a deliciously chewy texture to our pudding. So there you have it. We've created our pudding batter, combining butter, sugar, flour, eggs, and our soaked dates. Remember, the key to a perfect batter is the right mixing technique and consistency. It's not just about combining ingredients, it's about understanding how they work together to create something truly delicious. With our batter ready, we're one step closer to our sticky date pudding. Now comes the exciting part, baking our sticky date pudding. The aroma of the oven warming, the anticipation of a sweet treat, it's all part of the joy of baking. We've preheated our oven to a cozy 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or roughly 180 degrees Celsius for those using the metric system. A moderate temperature is ideal for our pudding, allowing it to cook evenly without burning on the outside or remaining raw in the middle. Now let's turn our attention back to our batter. It's been mixed to perfection, with the chopped dates evenly distributed throughout the batter. We're going to pour this into a well-greased baking dish. You may use a square, round, or even a loaf pan depending on your preference. The key here is to ensure that the batter is spread evenly, so each portion of our pudding bakes at the same rate. Now, with our batter nestled in the baking dish, we are ready to pop it into the oven. Slide the dish into the middle rack of the oven. This position ensures uniform heat distribution, aiding in even baking. The baking process will take approximately 40 to 45 minutes. While it might be tempting to open the oven door to peek at the pudding, resist the urge. Every time we open the oven door, heat escapes, which can affect the baking process. Instead, we can use the oven light to check on our pudding. We're looking for a golden brown top. Towards the end of the baking time, we can perform the tried and true toothpick test. Insert a clean toothpick into the center of the pudding. If it comes out clean or with just a few crumbs clinging to it, our pudding is done. Remember, everyone's oven is a bit different, so the baking time might vary slightly. Trust your senses. When you start smelling that irresistible scent of baked goodness filling your kitchen, it's probably a good sign that your pudding is nearing completion. And while our pudding is baking to perfection, we can start making our caramel sauce. This heavenly concoction will add the perfect finish to our sticky date pudding. So, let's get started, shall we? A sticky date pudding is incomplete without a delicious caramel sauce. Now, let's dive into the creation of this golden delight. We start our caramel journey with a pan over medium heat. Into this, we'll add a generous dollop of butter, watching as it slowly melts, releasing a rich, buttery aroma that's simply irresistible. Once our butter has melted, we'll introduce brown sugar into the mix, stirring continuously. You'll notice the sugar dissolving into the butter, creating a molten mixture that's the color of a delightful autumn sunset. Now comes the magic ingredient, the cream. Pouring it in, the mixture starts to bubble and froth, transforming before your eyes. Keep stirring this concoction, being patient as it thickens into a luscious golden sauce. The aroma of caramel will fill your kitchen, tempting your senses. And there you have it, a caramel sauce that's silky, rich, and utterly divine. And with that, our caramel sauce is ready, and so is our sticky date pudding. Now, it's time to put together our sticky date pudding. Assembling is just as important as baking. It's where your dish really comes to life. Start by poking small holes all over the warm pudding. This might seem odd, but trust me, it's a crucial step. These holes will allow our lovely caramel sauce to seep into the pudding, infusing it with a rich, sweet flavor right to the center. Next, slowly pour the warm caramel sauce over the pudding. Watch as it cascades over the top, disappearing into those holes we made earlier. This is where the magic happens. As for serving, a generous slice should do, but of course, you can adjust to your preference. And let's not forget about garnishes. A dollop of vanilla ice cream or a sprinkle of powdered sugar can add that extra touch of indulgence. And there you have it, a perfect sticky date pudding. Enjoy! Don't forget to subscribe for more delicious recipes.